Ukraine is finally getting what it needs: fighter jets. And not just any fighter jet. It's the myth, the legend, the most widely produced fighter half-century, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. But why now? Well, Russia recently fired 18 missiles from the air, land, and sea all at once into Ukraine. It was the 8th attack on Ukraine's capital in May alone. Russian pilots have also repeatedly flown illegally close to American aircraft in Syria and violated longstanding deconfliction protocols 85 times, all in the last 3 months. Russia is upping the ante in its war against its rivals, and the response from these rivals is to counter the country with the lethal F-16 in Ukraine. The UK, Netherlands, France, Belgium, Denmark, Poland, and the US are the nations tied to the seemingly complicated conversation of arming Ukraine with F-16s. A few weeks ago, the UK and Netherlands took it upon themselves to form a coalition of countries that would not only ensure Ukraine has its F-16 fighters, but also train the country's pilots to operate them efficiently. Prime Ministers Rishi Sunak of the United Kingdom and Mark Rutte of the Netherlands announced the formation of the coalition on May 16th, and a few days later, U.S. officials made it known that the U.S. too would participate in training Ukrainian pilots for F-16s, and collectively determine with its European allies how those aircraft might best be supplied. Training Ukrainian pilots to operate the F-16 is the first major hurdle to overcome. Training fighter pilots to fly a specific fighter usually requires many months, with a basic F-16 course ordinarily requiring 9 months. Due to the urgency of this situation, though, Ukrainian pilots are expected to be trained in fast forward, as quickly as possible. According to a recently leaked U.S. Air Force report, that could be in as little as 4 months. However, up against a high-threat rival like Russia, with sophisticated Russian S-400 long-range surface-to-air missiles and Su-35S fighters, basic training for pilots to become proficient in minimal required tasks alone might be insufficient, and thus, the training could still take a few more months than 4. For now, the training timeline remains as unpredictable as a game of football. But one thing that's getting increasingly certain is that Ukraine pilots would soon be getting crucially needed capabilities in the form of the F-16, especially with the U.S. now joining the training efforts after declining to send fighter jets to Ukraine and even preventing European states from doing so, although it was later revealed that the latter was to fulfill the U.S.'s end of a secret deal with China, which in return promised to use its influence to restrain Russia from using or threatening use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. The deal seems to have run its course, though, as Ukraine is expected to soon receive a fleet of F-16s. The exact number of F-16s Ukraine could receive remains unknown, but with over 4,600 units built and operated by 26 air forces across the globe, the fighter is in no short supply. The F-16 has had an eventful 44 years of service, and with production still ongoing, it doesn't seem to be retiring anytime soon. However, while the experience has proved the F-16 to be crucial in combat, it also means that the F-16 is 35 years older than the Su-35 it's likely to encounter in Ukraine. And although the F-16 has been constantly upgraded to keep up with the times, and as a result has a million different variants, the question remains: what happens in an F-16 versus Su-35 face-off? The F-16 Fighting Falcon and the Su-35 are two formidable fighter jets that have played significant roles in modern aerial combat. Now they must encounter and counter each other. To know how each fighter would fare, it's important to see the capabilities they wield within their metallic bodies. Propulsion. The F-16 is a single-engine aircraft. The engine in an F-16 depends on which F-16 is being considered. This is because the F-16 has two engine suppliers: Pratt & Whitney with a 29,160-pound force-producing F-100 PW200 afterburner turbofan, and General Electric with a 29,588-pound force-producing F-110 GE100 turbofan. These engines thrust their F-16s to a blurry top speed of Mach 2.05, a maximum range of 2,620 miles, and a space-bordering flight ceiling of 58,000 feet. The Su-35, on the other hand, is a twin-engine fighter, powered by two thrust-vectoring Saturn AL-41F1S afterburning turbofan engines that, accompanied by the gift of super maneuverability, produce a combined 38,800-pound force of thrust in normal conditions for the Russian fighter. This thrusts the fighter to a top speed of Mach 2.25, a maximum range of 2,200 miles, and a service ceiling of 59,000 feet. This means the Su-35 is 10% faster and flies 2% higher than the F-16, while the F-16 flies a 19% greater distance. Key design features. The F-16 is the first aircraft to use a fly-by-wire flight control system that helps make it an agile aircraft. It is also the first aircraft purpose-built to withstand 9G forces during high-angle maneuvers, permitting its pilots to really dig deep into their acrobatic skills and make the most of them. Other innovations introduced by the F-16 include a frameless bubble canopy for better visibility, a side-mounted control stick, and a reclined seat to reduce G-force effects on the pilot. The Su-35 is a much larger aircraft than the F-16, but exploits some of the technologies that the F-16 introduced to the world, such as a fly-by-wire flight control system. The aircraft enjoys an extensive use of lightweight composites and aluminum-lithium alloys to keep its weight in check and maneuverability in perfection. This impressive maneuverability plus structural integrity combo allows the fighter to pitch its nose up to 120 degrees in under 2 seconds to fire missiles at its target, withstanding up to 10 G forces in the process. Avionics and cockpit. The F-16 has been upgraded over the years to wield one of the most advanced avionics suites in the world. Its AN/APG-68 fire control radar has 25 interweavable operating modes and works optimally in both low-clutter and high-clutter environments. In addition to this radar, the F-16 is also fitted with an active electronically scanned array radar, a radar warning receiver, an electronic warfare suite, and so on. The Link 16 data link via which the F-16 shares information with friendlies is so impenetrable and allows communication so seamless that it might just be the best media platform in the world. The Su-35 also enjoys an interesting avionics suite. This includes the N035 Urbis E passive electronically scanned array radar, which constitutes the core of the Su-35's weapons control system. It is capable of detecting an aerial target up to 250 miles away, can track 30 airborne targets, and engage 8 at once. In addition to this radar, the Su-35 is equipped with an OLS-35 optoelectronic targeting system to provide other forms of tracking, and the N011 bars phased array radar to detect targets in high-clutter environments, among others. Armament. Starting with guns, the F-16 has an internal 511-round M61 Vulcan cannon, while the Su-35 packs a 150-round Gryazev Shipunov GSH-30-1 autocannon. Both highly capable of striking targets with the kind of frequency that leaves the targets with holes like honeycombs. In terms of missiles, the F-16 could be armed with up to 6 AIM-9 Sidewinder heat-seeking short-range air-to-air missiles by employing rail launchers on each wingtip, as well as radar-guided AIM-7 Sparrow medium-range air-to-air missiles in a weapons mix. The more recent F-16 versions support the AIM-120 AMRAAM, which aircraft often mount on the wingtip to reduce wing flutter. The F-16 can also carry various other air-to-air missiles, a wide variety of air-to-ground missiles, rockets, targeting or weapons pods, and conventional or nuclear bombs across its 11 hardpoints that have a total capacity for 17,000 pounds of ordnance. The Su-35 has 12 hardpoints with a capacity of 17,630 pounds of ordnance that includes a combination of bombs, air-to-air, air-to-surface, and anti-radiation missiles. While both fighters are already armed to the teeth and can almost match each other pound for pound, the F-16 is fitting to take its armament CV to new heights by wielding a brand new, inescapable, destruction-assuring laser weapon. SHIELD, or Self-Protect High-Energy Laser Demonstrator, is the name, and destroying targets with a potential 60-kilowatt high-energy laser weapon is the game. SHIELD is a laser weapon under development by 3 of the world's prominent defense contractors, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin. While Northrop Grumman and Boeing develop supporting subsystems, Lockheed Martin would deliver the main laser itself, known as Lance. Lockheed Martin received $26.3 million in funding from the Air Force for Lance, and by February 2022, the company had delivered the weapon to the Air Force. According to Lockheed Martin executive Tyler Griffin, Lance is the smallest, lightest, high-energy laser of its power class that the company has ever built. The aircraft that would wield Lance and ultimately Shield has not yet been officially announced, but Lockheed Martin released a concept art showing the weapon fitted on an F-16, which hints at the fighter being a top candidate. And so the Su-35 might just have one more thing to be worried about. As the war between Russia and Ukraine rages on, the F-16 has been summoned to counter the high-threat Russian forces and bring calm to the land. As the fighter possibly takes off into the skies en route to Ukraine, it is important to appreciate it by subscribing to this channel and giving this video a like. So do that now for the F-16. And thanks for watching.